The iPhone 13 is coming, but it's not the star of the show. Every year Apple has got an event in September, and people just in general call it the iPhone event because it's supposed to be the star of the show. But this year things might not look as huge for the iPhone 13 because last year the iPhone 12 received quite a large update, with a little bit of a redesign and also with the introduction of 5G. So this year we're most probably just looking at an incremental update for the iPhone 13 with probably some improvements to the camera, maybe a marginally better screen, and maybe some improvements to 5G, and that's pretty much it. The one thing that might be remotely interesting might be satellite communications with iPhone 13, but we have no idea how that's really going to work. Is it going to work 24/7, or is it just going to work for us during emergency situations? We have no idea. Well, with that in mind, it's quite clear that the iPhone 13 is not going to be the star of the show, but instead California streaming for the Apple Watch Series 7. Hi, I'm Clem, and this is Future Reference. And today we're going to talk about everything we know so far about the Apple Watch Series 7. And I know these are just rumors, but there are already bits and pieces of these rumors that I find really interesting. Now, we're hearing rumors that the production for Apple Watch Series 7 might be delayed, but at this point, I'm just too excited not to talk about the Apple Watch Series 7. And that's not just because I really want to replace my Apple Watch Series 3. The main reason is that there has been a lot more competition in the smartwatch market, in the smartwatch landscape. The main competition against Apple Watch is, of course, supposedly Google with Wear OS, but Wear OS has been existing for a few years and they haven't really been making a dent in the smartwatch market. This year, Google is doubling down their effort with a collaboration with Samsung, and I'm not going to dig through a lot of details of that, but what we can see in terms of the product side of things is Galaxy Watch 4. With the Galaxy Watch 4, they've brought more sensors to the watch than ever before. You can monitor your heart rate, you can do an ECG, but now they've introduced something called bioelectric impedance analysis, which with just wearing your watch, you can know about your body composition, which I find kind of uncomfortable, but anyhow, it sounds like a good thing to track your fitness and stuff. And of course, I'm not saying that Google and Samsung with just one smartwatch will be able to fight back against Apple in the smartwatch market, but it'll be interesting to see what Apple has up their sleeves to, well, defend their top spot in the smartwatch market. And for the Apple Watch Series 7, without a shadow of a doubt, we're starting with a new design. Now, if you think about the evolution of the Apple Watch design, it has always been quite round. You think about all the round edges here and all the app icons on watchOS are round as well. It has always been the DNA of Apple Watch design. And the implementation of a more angular, more squarish design for the Apple Watch might seem like a huge departure for Apple. But this transition of a design language has been happening for quite a few years now. It started with the iPad Pro back in 2018, and then we've got both the iPhone 12, all the models of the iPhone 12, and also the 24-inch iMac. And it makes sense for Apple to borrow that sort of design trend to the Apple Watch as well. And one of the good things for this more angly, squarish design is that the screen of the Apple Watch can now be extended even further to the edge of the watch body. In terms of a principle, Apple has done the similar with the iPhone 12. You think about this is the iPhone 11 Pro Max, and to accommodate for the round edges, the screen cannot extend to the very edge of the phone body. But by introducing a more angular design, the iPhone 12 models all have larger screens without having larger bodies. And by default, of course, that sounds like a great thing for the Apple Watch. Like, who doesn't like bigger screens on their personal devices? But I am indeed worried about the sharper edges of the physical design. If you think about how much your Apple Watch would be going through on a daily basis, especially if you're a sporty person, then it's inevitable that you would hit your Apple Watch on something, and create some nicks and scratches on the watch body. And this is where the rounder design language of my Apple Watch Series 3 really did it for me. If I hit my watch on something, because of the rounder design, the area of impact would be larger than what it would be on the purported Apple Watch Series 7. It's just what it is. It's just more noticeable on sharp edges. It's harder to hide nicks and scratches when there's a very clearly defined sharp edge on a physical product. And of course, one more thing we need to look out for is that the Apple Watch Series 7 is also rumored to not be compatible with previous generations of watch bands. It's not like we haven't gone through that before. You know, the transition from the 30-pin connector to the Lightning port, you used to use MagSafe for your MacBook, and now you're using probably USB-C. You know, it's especially annoying if you've got a huge collection of watch bands. That will be an annoying thing when I buy the Apple Watch Series 7. Now, other than the physical redesign, we're also thinking about the brains of the Apple Watch Series 7. In the early days of Apple Watch Series 7 rumors, people have been saying that Apple Watch Series 7 might come with sensors for blood pressure or blood sugar, and a lot of crazy ideas out there, but apparently those ideas seem to be put on hold for now. A lot of leakers are now pointing to the fact that these technologies might be delayed. I don't know why. Maybe possibly COVID-19 when no one's working actually in an office. I don't know how much impact that might affect the production of these Apple Watches, but that might just be the case. And for me, a potential Apple Watch Series 7 buyer, it's not going to be massively annoying because I do have a very old Apple Watch model here, so I automatically get a bigger screen, I get ECG, hand washing detection, fall detection, I've got blood oxygen as well. Like, I've got loads of upgrades in terms of my Apple Watch experience. But for people of a certain age, it's just annoying if they're withholding technologies that can really benefit how they monitor their health going forward, especially when we are really still stuck in a global pandemic. Now, the third and last thing I'm going to focus on is something that might not seem very important to you, even if you are a daily Apple Watch user, but I think it is very important for Apple looking forward in their Apple Watch development. And that one thing is the battery life. Now, it's been rumored that Apple is trying to fit everything into a smaller system on a chip, which is going to be, well, the S7 chip. If the rumors are true, by using a smaller processor, well, a smaller system on a chip, Apple is going to fit a larger battery into the Apple Watch Series 7. Now, that might not mean a lot to you, and frankly not to me anyway, because I'm not a really heavy Apple Watch user. But if you have an Apple Watch or planning to buy an Apple Watch with 4G, then a longer battery life might be a game changer. When I first bought the Apple Watch Series 3, I was thinking of buying the cellular version of the Apple Watch because I was just being curious as to how 4G would work on an Apple Watch. And the result was a bit lackluster, and there's nothing to do with 4G itself, but the battery life when I'm using 4G on my Apple Watch. If I'm just using my Apple Watch and not bringing my phone with me when I'm going out, then my watch battery life would just plummet to just 4 to 5 hours, and for me that's a really annoying thing. I need to plan around how I'm going to use the watch and then probably dedicate some time to stay at home to charge my watch so that I can wear it again later during the day. And because of that, at the end I just returned my 4G Apple Watch and bought this instead, a non-4G version. And now if Apple is planning on bringing a bigger battery, hence longer battery life for the Apple Watch Series 7, that will be a game changer. Imagine 18 hours of battery life, not just promised for when you're using your Apple Watch with a phone, but when you're using it by itself. Apple is already looking to expand the reach of Apple Watch by making it available through family setup. And if Apple is able to make this last longer on a single charge, that means it will make the Apple Watch a more dependable device than ever before. And maybe after all, what we need is not all sorts of fancy features for the next generation of Apple Watch. We don't need like 5G on the Apple Watch. We don't need all sorts of new health-oriented sensors and stuff. We don't need all sorts of gimmicky stuff happening with the Apple Watch. We just need it to be reliable. We want it to be dependable, and the longer battery life will certainly deliver that. With the California streaming event just coming next week, I know many people are looking forward to what the new iPhone will deliver and stuff, but for me, the Apple Watch Series 7 would be the star of the show. And I know that people might not necessarily agree with me because the iPhone will always be more lucrative than the Apple Watch. People would always need the iPhone more than the Apple Watch, and that's why they're paying more attention to the iPhone than to the Apple Watch. But the reason why the iPhone is not that interesting is that because the market is so oversaturated, and a lot of the innovations is coming from other phone companies. You think about Samsung with the Galaxy phones, with all their folding phones, you know, it's going to be a big debate whether it's useful or not, you know, having a folding screen, you know, is just gimmicky and stuff. But those are new things, those are eye-popping things we are focusing on. The iPhone is just this reliable phone that people, if they don't know much about technology, they would just go for it because, you know, it's a reliable experience. And I'm not saying reliability is a bad thing, but for a tech-savvy person, it can get quite boring if you're looking at the same sort of phone every single year. But things are totally different for the smartwatch market. For quite some time, Apple has been the only one playing in the field, but now Google and Samsung, they're trying to get things together, finally, join forces to work on something together. And Wear OS can really make something out of itself in a few years. And at that point, when Apple is facing competitions that are more and more fierce, it will be interesting to see what Apple can do to secure that top spot in the smartwatch market. And yeah, I think the Apple Watch Series 7 is just the start of that era. Things have been quite quiet in the world of tech, but I'm sure it'll be all the better next week. I'm planning on getting my hands on the new Apple Watch Series 7 very soon, so do subscribe to the channel for all my tips, tricks, and reviews about the Apple Watch Series 7. And of course, all the other news you will hear from the California streaming event. This has been Clem. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you again real soon on Future Reference.